Yes, ladies and gentlemen, episode 88 of Pokemon Horizons titled Shockwaves from the White Zygarde just dropped, and in this episode, our heroes will take on the White Zygarde in a raid-style battle in order to allow Terapagos to charge up. Will they be successful? Let's talk about it. This episode begins with everyone nearby worried due to the massive explosion of Laquium from last episode. Kumiri Town members are all outside, worried that the Black Rayquaza is bringing misfortune again. And the Rising Bull Tacklers are worried about everyone. Orla's even eyeing the emergency button that's inside the Brave Olivine that we saw a few episodes ago. What that button does, we still don't know, but I have a feeling it will be used soon. Then, we continue where we left off. We learn here that Gibeon Zygarde has its 4 special exclusive moves, so it's a pretty powerful Pokemon. The battle that we get here has a few different sections, but it all leads to something really awesome. The first bit is our heroes trying to attack from a distance, but Zygarde just dodges the moves. Our heroes' Pokemon then try to get closer to attack, especially with Disarming Voice, but Gibeon has Zygarde respond with Land's Rat to counter and get them off their footing. When Amethio tries to have Ceruledge get close, he's countered with Core Enforcer, which hits everyone. When Roy has Crocolore try to use the environment to attack from the air, Gibeon has Zygarde counter with 1,000 arrows. The other Pokemons luckily manage to dodge it. Then, Ceruledge has to be saved by Florigato for charging in recklessly. They do notice that 1,000 arrows does require a cell to head back to Zygarde, so they decide to attack again and have their Pokemon dodge the 1,000 arrows at first so they can attack. However, as our heroes are getting close to hitting their attacks, Gibeon surprises them by having Zygarde use 1,000 Wave, which also hits everyone. Gibeon's ready to do more major damage with Zygarde as our heroes' Pokemon are down, but in a really dope sequence, Amethio Ceruledge uses Phantom Force, and that takes all of our heroes' Pokemon and teleports them above Zygarde, allowing them to attack, and all of them are able to get hits in on Zygarde. That was really clever. There's more counters here as our heroes counter the Core Enforcer only to get hit by 1,000 Wave. After they hang on, they're able to get hits on Zygarde, but Zygarde takes those moves on purpose before countering with Land's Rat, and that seems to knock our heroes out of their Terrestrial form. It looks like it's over. Florigato barely hung on, and a single attack from Zygarde can stop Terapagos from doing what it's trying to do. However, this isn't an organized battle. This is a battle for survival. So, despite losing its Terrestrial form, which in a regular battle would be a KO, Liko's Florigato can still fight, and it sends back Core Enforcer with its magical leaf. Liko wants to protect everyone and their wishes, so she pushes forward to be right next to Florigato. Dot and Roy go next to their Pokemon and cheer Liko and Florigato on, and with everyone's hopes, Florigato increases its power before a blue light glows. Florigato evolves. It's now a Meowscarada. I really like the fact that just like raid battles from the game, cheering actually helps out the Pokemon, and in this case, it was seemingly able to increase Florigato's overall strength before it evolved into a Meowscarada. Meowscarada's evolution here was exceptionally done, and seeing Meowscarada and Liko's resolve, Amethio's Ceruledge is inspired and ready to battle again. In another really cool moment, Amethio tells Liko that his Ceruledge can only do one more attack, and since that won't be enough to defeat Zygarde, his plan is just to create a path for Liko and Meowscarada in order to win. So, the two take on Zygarde. Gibeon has Zygarde use Land's Wrath, but the two Pokemon dodge it. Then Zygarde uses Core Enforcer, but Ceruledge counters Core Enforcer with Bitter Blade and stops it, leaving Zygarde vulnerable. With this opening, Meowscarada is able to use multiple acrobatics to do major damage. Then, she throws her fruit at Zygarde to Sucker Punch, but Zygarde jumps in the air. When it looks like Zygarde is going to use Core Enforcer from the air to end it, Meowscarada snaps her finger. The fruit in front of Zygarde that she threw earlier explodes, sending Zygarde to the floor. An incredible use of the move Flower Trick, and it looks like that is enough to beat Zygarde. Zygarde does get up again, but it's no longer fighting. It looks back at Gibeon before separating into all its cells and disappearing. The final thing that was around Gibeon now from those long times ago is now also gone, and the explorers are shocked. Gibeon then goes off. He can't believe he lost to these kids. He can't believe he lost to someone of Lucius's bloodline. He asks what sets them apart, and Lucius responds that it's the bond between their partners and themselves. That's what gave them the strength to be the much stronger opponent like Zygarde. Gibeon rejects this, saying there's no science behind sayings like bonds, but Lucius says that because Pokemon are mysterious creatures, they can have miracle abilities that humans just can't quantify. He brings up that those bonds probably helped Florigato evolve into Meowscarada, and even Amethio says that he felt that bond with the Ceruledge in battle. Lucius says that maybe that's why Zygarde was battling with him, to show him that those types of bonds are possible, and that seemingly gets Gibeon to stop and reflect by looking at his Pokeball. Meanwhile, it looks like finally Terapagos has enough power from the 6 heroes, and it's able to transform into its stellar form. As all the 6 hero Pokemon are above the Laquium crystal floating inside Terapagos' bubble, that's where we end the episode. This is mostly a battle episode, so most of my talk about this episode is going to be about how I felt about the battle, and personally, I love this battle. If you played Sword and Shield, then you know how difficult a battle Zygarde raids are in Dynamax Adventures, so this feels very similar to that. This battle, feeling almost impossible for our heroes until they're able to figure out strategies, feel very realistic and well done. Zygarde's signature moves here are absurd. All of them affect everyone in the field and are really difficult to counter, so that made the struggle much more real. What I also like is that this uses raid mechanics, but it does it subtly instead of overtly. Specifically the cheering mechanic. Dot and Roy's cheering helps Florigato, and this is something that the anime has been doing for a long time, but now that it's also a part of the game, it's cool to see how both the games and the anime are now tying back to each other. I also like that Zygarde got our heroes' respect, which is why it stopped battling. It approves of everyone, but just not Gibeon. So even though it battled with him, and it showed him that the bonds between Pokemon and human are important, Gibeon didn't seemingly understand, which is why it left him. It's both a physical but also emotional loss for someone like Gibeon, who had this weird relationship with his Pokemon. Zygarde leaving Gibeon, and now the explanation that Lucius gave, I wonder where Gibeon goes from here as a character. Will he pass away soon because he is old now that he doesn't have his partner, and what he's searching for in Laquium might be gone next episode? I'm curious to find out. The Meowscarada evolution, let's talk about that a little bit, felt really meaningful and was incredibly well done. That includes both the narrative side and the animation side. Speaking of which, the animation in this episode was great. Terrestrial Pokemon tend not to last in the anime because the crystal and the lighting and everything involved makes it not stand out in the best way, but the use of Laqua's background of pinks, along with the multitude of colors due to all the terrestrial Pokemon available here, made everything look really nice. Overall, the animation for this episode was really well done. Now that Terapagos has turned into its stellar form, it looks like Laquium is about to be purified, but I don't trust Spinel. It feels like he has something major hidden in his back pocket, and I'm not talking about the thing that was shown in the next episode preview. I just mean in general, because since Gibeon doesn't have his Pokemon anymore, he's no longer the threat, and if that's the case, I can see Spinel taking over as the Explorer's leader and doing something else. I'm not sure what that could be. It feels like there's still so many mysteries and questions lingering around this series. Even things like that button in the ship, what is it gonna do? Stuff like that makes me continuously curious as to where this story is heading, and I can't wait to see what's happening next. Overall though, this is a phenomenal episode. I really liked, but what about you guys? What did you guys think about this episode? Let me know in the comments down below. Other than that, be sure to like, share, subscribe, and that's it. I will talk to you guys later.